I think you have to understand that in a situation like this, there's always an open line of communication. And whilst there may not be publicly visible negotiation between the two sides, you can assume that talks between the leaders and representatives of the governments continue to take place. And the fact that they haven't led to any conclusion has always largely been because the leaders themselves do not make the decision. It's quite clear, subsequent to the roadmap offer by the government over 2 weeks ago now of an early election, that at first the leaders had all agreed to the proposition until there was intervention from overseas by the ex-Prime Minister, which prevented an agreement being reached. A real tragedy, because I think we would all be able to see everybody effectively getting what they needed in order to bring Thailand back to peace by now.
What are the thoughts of the current Thai Prime Minister on this? I understand you know him well. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are close.
Yep.
What are his thoughts?
Well, I know he's been besieged for months. His spirits are remarkably high given the circumstances. I think he's determined to see this through. He wants the rule of law to be enforced. He wants to do it in as peaceful a manner as possible, minimize losses. He's willing to lose face. He's willing to be severely criticized for apparently being too lenient. But I think he's determined to make sure that democracy wins the day. And I think his belief, essentially, is that whatever grievances you have does not justify this sort of activity whereby citizens and the country is held hostage.
But how would the government deal with those grievances? Because what the protesters say is that it hasn't, that it's been deaf to the demands to provide more for the poor, to consider the country's poor, all of the things the protesters are talking about, that these things have not been addressed by the government.
I think where we failed is the failure to communicate exactly what we have been doing over the past year and a half that we've been in office. We have provided an income guarantee scheme for farmers, for example, that revolutionized farmers' income. 4 million farmers signed up for it and have received a level of guarantee that ensures that they earn sufficient living from their agricultural activities. We've provided every Thai with free education. We provided pensions for old age pensioners who are not in the social security system. I mean, I can go on and on. The problem is, you're right, this message has hitherto not been received sufficiently at the rural level, and there is that perception, and I won't argue with you about it, that the government maybe hasn't yet done enough for the rural poor. But the truth is something different. And what we need to do is continue with these excellent programs and make sure that we communicate our position and our intent in a much forceful manner.